At 732-545-9282. Toll free at 888-545-9282. Watch Jersey Central live online at WCTCAM.com or listen on your smartphone with the iHeartRadio or TuneIn apps. Connect with WCTC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube by searching 1450 WCTC. And now back to Jersey's Morning Show. Jersey Central with Bert Barron.
For the Forge Jewelers, Omega time is 7:37. Forge Jewelers, the official jeweler of 1450 WCTC. Hello there, it is Bert. Contest is coming up. America tickets. They're going to be at State Theater. We've also got 2 restaurant gift cards to 2 restaurants in downtown New Brunswick. As promised, if you're watching us online, and as soon as I mentioned that, I watched the viewership numbers just climb. So that's very cool. Sometime in just a little bit here, I'm actually going to show on the webcam the lyric that is the clue for today's America Lyric Challenge, and that is before I read it on the air. So you're going to have a little bit of an edge when it comes time to do the contest, and I'll do that for you coming up in just a few moments. Right now, I got to get to the Jersey Central Newsmaker hotline because it's Tuesday, and that means Barry Blank is with us from National Estate Jewelers for our weekly What's It Worth segment. Good morning, Barry. Welcome back. How are you?
Good morning. I'm feeling great.
Good for you. We're going to talk about house calls in just a few moments, but a question for you, Barry. Sports memorabilia, you hear about every once in a while where a player who maybe won a World Series or won a Super Bowl or whatever, for whatever reason, they take their championship ring or some piece of championship memorabilia, and now they're going to auction it off because they want to make money for that. Does the value of something like that, just simply because of what it is, a championship sort of celebratory item, is it automatically valuable at that point, or does it depend upon the team, the player, the year? Does all that kind of factor in, Barry, in coming up with a value for that?
The answer is simply yes.
Yes.
It depends on, it depends on everything. Was the player well liked, or was he hated? You know, what was the demand? Is there a demand for this player's stuff? You know, why does the name Yogi Berra stand out? Muhammad Ali. Why do these names stand out? Because they were famous. They were in demand. They were characters. We've all heard of Yogi Berra-isms.
Right.
You know, things they said that were outlandish. If there's a demand there, and the opposite with something like OJ, nobody wants OJ stuff right now. You know,
yeah.
A lot of things happen that affect the value. You got to keep your eye on the market. Are there auction results? Is there a demand?
And speaking of OJ, he could potentially be making some very big news this week that, of course, we're keeping an eye on that as well. But for your segment here, Barry, when you talk about house calls, we're not talking about Doc Baker from Little House on the Prairie with his little black bag going from cabin to cabin. It's not that kind of house call, right?
Not that kind of house call. Matter of fact, I was just on a house call where I had 2 bright purplish pink bags with me. So, and these contain gold testing equipment. I consider it a small mini lab or mini laboratory. Gold testing equipment, gem testing equipment. Often, if I need, I bring a portable microscope. I can pretty much, and scales weighing that could weigh into the 10s, 20s, 50s, hundreds of pounds of merchandise. So it's a question of convenience, I guess. That's why I make house calls.
When you go to these house calls, Barry, if someone is going to have you over, what sort of preparation do they need besides, cold beverages in the refrigerator? Do you want them to kind of organize the stuff and lay it out kind of neat for you? What's the process leading up?
Filet mignon, lobster tails, champagne.
I should have known.
No. I like to have it laid out. I like to have it on a table. I was just at a house call. Matter of fact, I'm going to say hey to 3 brothers in South Plainfield, John, Joseph, and Charles, or Chuck. And I went through 150 pounds of costume jewelry, silver jewelry, and gold jewelry. And we were all happy with the outturn, but everything got looked at. It took 4.5 hours.
Man. That's some quality time with some people there. That's good for you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I want to thank them for having me in their home.
And just put a call into you and see if your schedule allows a house call. Is it that simple?
Matter of fact, they got where they got. You know who they said they got my name from?
I can't imagine.
WCTC.
How about that? How about that? I've heard of him. That's cool.
They said they used to listen to Jack, and they listen all the time. So
excellent. Good people. I'll give them a shout-out, too. The 3 brothers in South Plainfield. Thank you guys so much. Anything recently, Barry? Maybe some recent purchases, unusual or exciting you can share?
In the last couple of days, in the store we purchased a 2-carat 20 diamond for over $12,000, a Chopard watch for over $15,000, and I'll tell you, I made a house call over the last 2 months. It took 10 visits, and he just called me. He has something else he found because he keeps finding things. I spent over $250,000 there.
You're kidding.
Biggest coin collection I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow. Somebody had a $250,000 of coins in their home.
Well, they kept it mostly in safe deposit boxes.
Okay.
But they brought it in and we kept going through it, and I could not believe how much time. I've never seen anything like this. This man was an avid collector and couldn't have been happier. Matter of fact, he was moving, and he says to me, I have a couple of cases of vodka and whiskey I'm not going to bring with me. Do you want them? I said, duh. So it was kind of, you can't resell alcohol.
Right. That's
you can't bring it to liquor stores. The only place who can sell it are the auction galleries, and they won't take whiskey. They want fine wine.
Gotcha. Speaking of alcohol, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if you caught the story about a week or so ago. There was a discovery of some bottles of wine in Union County at Kane University, this vault apparently. There's bottles of wine in there, Barry, that date back to the 1700s, even like before the Declaration was signed. $20,000 a bottle. I would think something like that is priceless. I don't know how you could put a price on something like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's the question is, buyer beware. In one of the houses I was recently at, he had an entire wine cellar, hundreds of bottles that he was moving. And you know what happened? It was all bad because it wasn't temperature controlled.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's the end of that, right?
Yeah, it's the end of that. So, it was sad, but they had to dump everything.
Oh, man.
But it's you got to really know, know, and there is a risk involved in buying 100-year-old wine or 200-year-old wine.
I guess there is, right? Right. Yeah. Next month, big things going on. You're on Route 18, and it's going to be your 18th year in business and an 18th year celebration that's happening a little later this summer.
That's true. We are on Route 18, and we are in business since 1999, so we are now in our 18th year. And it's amazing because business is just a pop, and we're so busy, and I'm very happy about it.
So you got some events that are going to be happening, also some monthly events. So you're doing some free seminars also, Barry. What are they going to be about?
Well, they're going to be about everything I talk about on the show.
Awesome.
I'm not sure where we're going to hold them yet, but they're going to be monthly or bi-monthly seminars. I'll announce them to you first on WCTC.
Thank you for that.
And it'll be a first-come, first-served basis with refreshments, probably in an evening, 6:30, and it's probably going to be near my store in one of the local event centers.
I love it. The free evaluation days are also continuing at National Estate Jewelers. Those verbal evaluations happen every Tuesday. You're more than welcome to go by, bring some valuables, and get those free verbal evaluations while you're there. Barry, great to speak with you, and
you too.
What's it worth? And we'll talk next week, all right?
You bet.
Take care, Barry. Thanks so much.